3 airports in one day with no layovers. Yeah. That's a weird day.
That is very strange. That is very strange.
But you know what's amazing? Shout out to the airline. I'm not going to give them any praise here publicly because you can advertise with us. We have great advertising partners. I didn't miss a second of any of the games because they had TVs on everything. So
nice.
I was very lucky in that regard because I had booked my flights perfectly to not miss any games, but they tried to make me miss the games. Anyway, all right, Patrick Mahomes.
He's going to be missing some games.
This is so – it's sad. It's honestly sad. You lose the game. You lose your quarterback. Guys, your initial reaction / what's next for Kansas City?
Well, I think the initial reaction, I'm going to speak for myself, but I feel like for a lot of people, is just feeling a bit deflated. And, I'm the number one person on this show that kept saying that the Chiefs' success was annoying. And obviously that's in jest because I wanted someone to truly challenge Patrick Mahomes as a rival. I wanted someone, a team to truly challenge the Chiefs for greatness. I wanted a rivalry. But for them to not only get eliminated from the playoffs and end an incredible run of sustained success, and getting to the top of the mountain is hard enough, sustaining it is even harder. And they had an unbelievable run. But to think that he goes down in that same game with that knee injury and he's going to be out for some time, just as a football fan and someone that enjoys watching him week in and week out exert himself and see that greatness, it was deflating. I felt very sad for him, very bummed out for him, and you have to wonder what's next for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, no doubt. And here's the thing. It's been trending this way for a while now with the way that Chiefs offensive line has been playing. Patrick Mahomes is the second most contacted quarterback in the NFL. Only Justin Herbert has been hit more. And so when you think about the state of affairs when it comes to that Chiefs offensive line, that team has been playing with fire in terms of allowing Patrick Mahomes to get pressured and to get hit at the rate that we've seen. And yesterday was more of the same from that Chargers front. Now, credit to those guys. I felt like they got after it from a physical standpoint. But you can't allow your quarterback to be pressured 18 times, hit 9 times, sacked 5 times. That is a recipe for disaster. And unfortunately, the unthinkable happened yesterday. And so now, not only are we talking about the Kansas City Chiefs having several significant streaks snapped, we're talking about how this Mahomes injury is going to impact them in 2026 and beyond. It feels like the death of the dynasty as we know it. The only question is, are they going to be able to have a second act like we've seen the New England Patriots and other NFL dynasties have in the past?
And that is the huge question, right? 10 straight playoff appearances. That streak is now over. They had been in the AFC title game all of the years that Mahomes had been a full-time starter, obviously eliminated from the playoffs now. We don't know about his status next year. And Andy Reid had this to say, head coach of the Chiefs, about the mood in the locker room post the loss to the Chargers and the loss of Mahomes.
Yeah, the guys are down. They busted their butt to win the game, and I wouldn't expect anything less. So, it's not a great feeling. I wouldn't expect it to be after losing a game.
Guys, we think about the big 3 or 4 of the Chiefs dynasty so far, right? We think about Reid, we think about Mahomes, we think about Kelsey, Chris Jones as well. But I'm going to leave Chris Jones out for the question I'm going to ask you because he would be the obvious answer. Which of those 3 guys that I just mentioned participates in the most regular season games for the Chiefs next year?
Out of Reid, Kelsey, Mahomes, I would go with Andy Reid.
Yeah.
With Mahomes' injury, you don't know how much you're going to see
TBD on Travis Kelsey.
Yeah, you don't know if this is the end of his career, if he's coming back or not. Andy Reid seems like the safe bet there.
Can I pitch an idea? Or maybe a concept for the Chiefs? Is there any chance next year they just voluntarily take a gap year? They say to Mahomes, don't even worry about coming back next year.
Ain't this year supposed to be the gap year?
Well, but
coming into this season, you said that this could be the 2008 New England Patriots. You said that.
I know. I don't like.
I understand you don't like that, but that, it ends up bearing itself out in that way. It's just that the injury from Mahomes happens at the end of the season, not at the beginning. But you said that based on all of the football that they had played, how attrition always plays a factor in the NFL regular season, which is a marathon, not a sprint. At some point, all of those games, all of that, the toll physically is going to catch up to you.
Definitely.
And that feels like it's happened this year. And so the question now is, can Kansas City make the tough decisions that they have to in order to allow the franchise to function forward, which means moving on from some guys that we consider stalwarts. Because in a salary cap sport, the name of the game is to get younger and cheaper. And right now, the Kansas City Chiefs have a lot of guys, a lot of names we know that are expensive players, and quite frankly, some of them are more name than game. So the question is now, can Brett Veach in that front office retool better than what they've shown over the last several years that have allowed this team, allowed that offense to be in the state that it currently is in?
Yeah, and I guess it's a fair point. I guess I was thinking the same way, but maybe a little bit altered in terms of the approach. When I said gap year, the gap year was this year, but not by design. I guess what I'm asking is, could next year be the gap year by design, where they say to Kelsey, take the year off and let us decide after that? I'm just saying, does he need a year away? Does Mahomes need the full year off and not even rush him back? I'm just throwing that out there.
For Kelsey, if you're going to take a gap year,
man, he ain't coming back.
You're not coming back.
He's not coming back. All right. I mean, Gronk took what, 1 or 2 years in between New England and Tampa? I forgot the number of years.
I think their circumstances are
billionaire,
the circumstances are a little different.
Dog.
Okay, all right.
A little bit different.
Well, then we're gonna get to how many games Mahomes plays next year, if at all, whether or not Kelsey comes back, and obviously whether or not Andy Reid comes back next year. And Sal Paolantonio, ESPN NFL reporter, of course, has covered Andy Reid forever, dating back to his time in Philadelphia, was on Game Night here on ESPN Radio last night with Mark Zinno and Gerard Cherry, 3-time Super Bowl champion ESPN Cleveland, and had this to say about Andy Reid and whether or not he'd retire.
Not like this, no. And I've known him since the day he came to Philadelphia in 1999. I think he still has a lot of competitive juices flowing, A. B, I think, he sort of made a pact with his family that, this is his life. This is what he wants to do. He's on a track to set some all-time records as a head coach. Obviously, he's going to the Hall of Fame. So I don't think he's done. Definitely not. I don't think he wants to write his story ending like this. Knowing him, I don't think he wants to, lead the organization like this in a lurch, uncertain about the quarterback, uncertain about the head coach. That's just not his style.
All right, so if Reid's coming back, Mahomes coming back at some point, Kelsey TBD, was this yesterday the last dance, or was this the end of part 1 of the dynasty?
It feels to me like the end of the dynasty, because if you're going to miss Patrick Mahomes for a portion of next year, you don't know about Travis Kelsey. Chris Jones is not getting any younger. Who is the number one wideout or the number one target for Patrick Mahomes? They have a lot of work to do is what I'm getting at. And you want to think that they can just retool because you have faith in the organization, and anytime 15 is out there, you have faith that they're going to be able to be competitive and be in that contention window. But I say this all the time. I think that we have Tom Brady blinders on. We just assume that because we saw him do it and because we saw the Patriots do it, that if we see any sort of sustained greatness from a player or from an organization, that we expect them to be able to replicate that. And I think what we're learning is that what Tom Brady and Belichick and the Patriots did was so singular that I don't know if anybody's going to be able to do it. And if this is the end for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and the dynasty, who's up next? Because this is such a weird year in the NFL.